Hey everyone, this is Jeff Risdon from Lions Wire and Detroit Lions Podcast. I want to do a little bit quick breakdown and hopefully clear up some misperceptions about two of the options that the Detroit Lions have at number 7 overall. Specifically the offensive tackles in the draft at the top. There's two of them, Penei Sewell from Oregon, Rashawn Slater from Northwestern. You all know that by now. I took the unusual step of grading Raeshawn Slater higher than Penei Sewell. And there seems to be a lot of Lions fans and overall NFL draft fans who just don't understand how that's possibly a tenable position, even though guys like Lance Zierlein, Daniel Jeremiah, quite a few other prominent draft nicks have it that way, well higher up the food chain than I am in the draft media world. But there's a lot of fans that don't seem to think that Raeshawn Slater can play tackle and that Penei Sewell is this generational talent at offensive tackle. I don't see it that way. Now, I have them, in full disclosure, on my big board. They are dead next to each other. Slater is number 11. Sewell is number 12 overall. They are right next to each other. I would be perfectly fine if the Lions made the choice to take Sewell over Slater, even though I personally do want Slater a little bit more. But there seems to be this misperception about the physical characteristics of the two and their games, and it bothers me. And I'm tired of the ignorance, so I'm going to try to educate people here, specifically people who think that Rashawn Slater has too short of arms to play tackle in the NFL. I'm going to read off the characteristics, the physical attributes of each man. Penei Sewell is 6'4" 3/4", which is exactly how tall I am, as a side note. His arm length is 33.25 inches, 33 1/4. Wingspan is 80 7/8 inches. That's going fingertip to fingertip, way out there. That's fairly standard for his size. The arms are a little short for that. Raeshawn Slater. Now, everybody's talking about him like he's got T-Rex arms and can't possibly play tackle. He's 6'4" 1/4. So he's a little under half an inch shorter than what Sewell is. His wingspan, 80 1/4. His arm length, 33 flat. His arm is a quarter of a length shorter. Let me repeat that. Slater's arm is 1/4 of 1 inch shorter than Penei Sewell's. If you have a problem with Slater's arm length, you're going to have a problem with Sewell's arm length. Otherwise, you're being disingenuous and proving that you don't know what you're talking about. And I get so tired of that, folks. Look, if you think that Rashawn Slater isn't as good of a prospect as Penei Sewell, that's fine. You can evaluate that, and you can absolutely justify that. But this take that Slater can't play tackle because his arms are too short, or he's not as good of an athlete as Sewell, that's simply not true. Just to go a little bit further on this, at the same relative size, I mean, they're within a half an inch of each other. They're half an inch of arm, or quarter of an inch of arm length. Wingspan's about the same. Physical attributes, and now Sewell does weigh more, so you'd have to factor that in. He weighs about 27 pounds more based on their pro days. All right, for those of you who think that Rashawn Slater can't play tackle, tell me why Sewell can play tackle. Slater was better in every athletic metric that matters. His 40-yard dash was faster, by a lot. His 10-yard split, which is the most important part of the 40-yard dash for an offensive tackle, was a lot better than Sewell's. Now again, he weighs a little bit more, so you would expect that, but proportionally speaking, Slater's was a lot more explosive, a lot more dynamic. The 10-yard split obviously was one of them. The bench press. Slater put up 33. Sewell put up 30. So don't tell me he's this rocked up powerhouse and Slater's this weakling. Again, the arm length is relatively the same. So it's not like one of them had an advantage or disadvantage in the arm length. I will speak as someone who at 6'4", 7", with 36.5 inch arms, I can tell you the bench press, it does get tougher if you have longer arms, but that's not the case in this point. 3-cone drill. Slater was better. Short shuttle. Slater blew him away. Sewell did not test well in the short shuttle, even for a guy at his size. It just wasn't that impressive. He's not as dynamic or fluid of an athlete. Now you tell me, what's important at playing tackle? Being a fluid athlete or being powerful? Powerful sounds like guard, right? So how come I never hear squadoosh about Penei Sewell possibly moving into guard? By the way, his game style, his playing style, suits guard better than Slater's does. Slater wins with his finesse, with his technique, with his footwork, with staying balanced on the edge, with squaring up mirror technique, very good hand punch, but staying square to the target and nullifying speed off the edge. That's where he's at his best. You saw it against Chase Young. You saw it against Jason Owe. You saw it against Kwity Paye when he played against Michigan. These are very respectable pass rushing prospects, including Chase Young, who Slater, by the way, pitched a shutout against for most of that game against Ohio State in 2019. They both opted out last year, so we don't have any fresh tape on either of them. Slater has a significantly more experience in college. He started more games. Sewell, if you'll remember, got hurt in 2018, so he only played half the season that year. Didn't exactly face a murderer's row of pass rushers in the Pac-12. Pop quiz. Name a Pac-12 pass rusher from the 2018, 2019, or 2020 draft. I'll give you a minute. Compare that against the guys that Slater went up against in the Big Ten and did better against in the Big Ten, by the way. It had a higher pass blocking grade and efficiency than what Sewell did. So again, tell me why you want Slater to move inside, and tell me why Sewell is this generational talent on the outside. They're both really, really good players. They would both be fine as the pick for the number 7 with the Detroit Lions or any other teams around that. You can make an educated argument for either player. I get tired of this hate on Slater, and the hate personally directed at me for liking Slater just a little bit more than Sewell, thinking that he's going to play tackle in the NFL and not guard. If you've watched either man, and I challenge some of you who are making their proclamations that Sewell's a tackle only and Slater's a guard only, watch their games. Watch how they played. Watch what they're good at. Watch what they're not good at. And if you find then that Rashawn Slater needs to kick inside and Penei Sewell can only play on the outside, I'm just going to tell you don't know what you're looking at. Can either of them do either? Yeah, probably. I would say, though, that in all honesty, I think Slater has to play tackle. His game suits him so much better to play tackle. I don't care about the arm length like that. And if it's a quarter of an inch that makes that big of a difference, maybe ask the lady in your life how much of a quarter of an inch really matters, because you're harping on something there that it's inconsequential. Neither of them meets the threshold, if you're talking about it that way. Neither of them has the 34.5-inch arms that you would expect from a man who's 6'4" and change. And that would be the normal proportional size. A lot of the other tackles don't have it in this draft either. It's Liam Eichenberg from Notre Dame, 32 3/4 of an inch for his arm length, and he's taller than both men. He still gets first-round buzz, second-round buzz, top 50 buzz, and is an option for the Lions in the second round if they don't take one of Sewell or Slater in the first round. Please stop getting hung up on the minutia of the arm length. Stop dying on other people's islands. Stop arguing points that you clearly don't know what you're talking about. If you're saying that you think that Slater can only play guard and that Sewell is this, transcendentally better prospect. They're very, very close. They're both really good players. You'll be happy rooting for either one of them on Honolulu Blue. Try not to paint yourself into a corner based on what other people are telling you. Use your own eyes. That's what you're there for. If you don't have time to use your own eyes to evaluate them, you can find people that you trust. Hopefully I'm one of them. You can go through and read the evaluations for all the players, find their positives, their negatives, see which one you like better. I think in the end, you're probably going to find that they're pretty damn close to one another, and that maybe you should back off on this take that Sewell would be this, home run, gotta have pick, instant all-pro at right tackle right away, and Slater would be this guy who would compete against Big V or even Logan Stenberg and possibly be the right guard of the future. It's just simply not the truth. Use your own eyes, use your own head, and if you can't do those, then maybe shut up.